Hello YouTube! This is a video I've been meaning to do for a while. This will walk you through how to record a macro in Microsoft Excel so that you have a convenient one-click button that automatically reformats your bank transaction download into a format that is ready for quick copy-paste into your Excel-Checkbook spreadsheet. Here's a look at the end result. I have a sample bank transaction download from Bank of America, and with one click, my transactions are reformatted, and I can now select that data, copy it to my clipboard, and then paste it into my checkbook. And with this method, I'm never giving a third party any access to my bank login credentials. I remain in control of my data. So let's walk through the steps. As a first step, you'll want to look at my list of articles here for your bank. You'll find those under the Support and Resources menu heading, How to Import Bank Transactions. If your particular bank is not listed, feel free to contact me and or see if one of these sample articles comes close to the layout of columns from your bank. I'm going to use this Bank of America article as my example. This article lists the summary of steps where you would visit your bank website, log in, and then find the option to download your transactions, typically as a CSV file, so that you can easily open it in Microsoft Excel. You then have some steps for reformatting the columns to get them in a layout that will be easy for copying and pasting into the Excel checkbook. So we're going to use this article as our guide, but we're going to record a macro so we have a convenient one-click button so that anytime in the future we can easily download the last several weeks or month worth of transactions and then quickly copy paste that into the Excel checkbook. So here on my screen I have a sample fictitious download of bank transactions that are from Bank of America. And again, we'll use this as our example, but similar steps would be applicable to your bank. Now, one of our main goals in recording a macro is to get the bank transaction download to have a similar column layout as our Excel checkbook. So by that I mean that we want to have column for date, transaction type, check number, description, and then finally columns for withdrawal and deposit. So here's how we start the process of recording a macro, and this should work for both Windows PC as well as Mac users. So under the View menu, you should find a button, typically toward the end of the toolbar, for macros. And there's actually kind of a top or bottom portion of this. We're going to click on this bottom part of macros and tell it we want to record a macro. Now in the screen that pops up here, we have a prompt to give our macro a name as well as where we want to store the macro. Now one quirk with Microsoft Excel is it's very picky about how you name macros. So as an example, I'm going to call this checkbook reformat. Now I am using an underscore. You cannot use spaces in your macro name. You can't use hyphens, but it is safe to use an underscore. And then it's super important that you tell it to store the macro in your personal macro workbook. You don't want to store it in the current workbook. It does need to store in the personal macro workbook, and then we'll click OK. All right, so now Microsoft Excel is watching every step we take, which will then be recorded into that macro. So one of the first things I'm going to do is just widen all of the columns for better readability. So if I take my mouse, click and hold down across all of these columns, and then in between any particular column, if I do a double click, that just automatically widens the columns to fit the content. And as I mentioned before, we need to have a similar layout as the Excel checkbook, which is having a date column, transaction type, check column, and then finally a description column. So we need to add a couple extra columns, and so before I do, I'm going to unclick this selection here and then point at the letter B, do a right click and tell it to insert, and I'm going to repeat that again, this time clicking on the C column, right click, choose insert, and I now have two extra columns. Up here in this first column, we'll click into that first B cell and type in TRX type, and then here in the first C column cell, we're going to put in the word check. And that doesn't have to be exactly spelled the same way as the Excel checkbook, because we won't actually be copying these column headings, just the data that falls underneath of them. Now I'm going to return to the home menu because one of the side effects of having done this insert of columns right after the date column is it thinks that both of these columns are now in date format. So you see that up there. And so what I'm going to do is hold down my mouse over the B and C columns and click on General just to make sure that these columns are in general format, not in date format. Okay, next we need columns for withdrawal and deposit, and we want that to be right after the description column. So I'm going to point at the E column, do a right click, choose Insert, and repeat that process here on the F column, right click, choose Insert, and then we'll go ahead and give these top columns a label. So we'll call this one Withdrawal, and then arrow over and call this one Deposit. Okay, so we now have the right layout. Columns for date, transaction type check, description, withdrawal, and deposit. And we'll keep going. Since we're following the article for Bank of America, as we scroll down, we find the steps to do what we just did, which was adding some extra columns. And then here we've got this step here of putting in this formula to get the check number out of the descriptions. Just a particular quirk of the Bank of America transaction. So I'm going to take my mouse, highlight this formula here, and copy it to my clipboard. So I'm doing a right click and choosing copy, or you could use your keyboard control for copy C to copy that to the clipboard. Okay, then back here in the spreadsheet, we're going to click our cursor here in this first empty cell for check, but it's super important that we now click up in the formula bar before we do our paste of that formula. So I'm going to either do a Control V if you're a keyboard person, or you can also do the right click up here and choose paste. So here's my formula. My cursor's here at the end. I'm going to hit my Enter key on the keyboard, and that has now put that formula in that first cell. Of course, I don't actually see any end result, right? Because that first entry up here does not have a check being referenced in the description. My next step is to copy this formula all the way down. Now, because I want to make sure that this macro is going to work for future transaction downloads, for example, maybe one day I want to download 1 month or 2 month worth of transactions, and that could be, over 100 or 200 rows. So to make this macro functional for a larger transaction download, what I'm going to do is grab this bottom corner, click and hold down my mouse, and I'm going to drag this down, and I'm actually just going to keep on going for quite a ways, even though I don't have any actual data in the sample. But whenever I feel like it's a good stopping point, I now see that formula has copied all the way down to, in this case, row 161. I'll scroll back up here to the top and keep on going. And we see that the formula has correctly grabbed the check number from the description, at least in the case of this Bank of America format. That's how they've done it. Now we're ready to get our formula for withdrawal and deposit. So we'll go back to our article. And here in the article, as I scroll on further down, here is the formula to use to get the withdrawal calculated. And so we'll highlight that text, copy that to the clipboard, and return to our spreadsheet. We'll click in this first empty withdrawal cell, but again, it's super important that we click up in the formula bar before we do our paste. I'll do a Control V from my keyboard, press the Enter key, and there it has correctly grabbed the withdrawal amount, but it changed that negative number to a positive number using this formula. Now I want to get this formula copied all the way down, but since I've already got a formula copied way down, it's one of my convenient things I can do is just a double click in this corner. So as long as I see that black plus symbol, I can do a double click, and that will have copied the formula all the way down to the same number of rows as my previous check formula. And now I want to get the formula for deposit in here next. So returning to my article, I'll scroll on further down to find the formula for the deposit column. So I'll highlight that text, copy that to my clipboard, and return back to my spreadsheet. So we make sure that our cursor is in this first cell, but again, up in the formula bar is where we'll do our paste. This time I'll do a right click to get to my paste option, hit the Enter key, and I've got my formula in this first cell. Now it showed up blank because this particular instance was not a a deposit amount. And again, I'll do this double click of the corner, and it'll now have that formula copied all the way down. Now I could actually stop the macro recording at this point because I've got really all that I truly need, but I like to make my formats pretty. So what I'm going to do is do a couple extra steps of highlighting my column headings and then clicking the B button to make that bold, and I'll also even add a little yellow highlight to it. The other thing that, again, totally optional, but I liked my numbers to all have the same kind of format. So I'll click and hold down across the E, F, and G columns, and then come up to this formatting toolbar and choose number as my format. And then lastly, I'm going to put my cursor on the very first date entry before I stop my macro recording. It's just for another convenience sort of a thing. To stop the macro recording, I go back to the View menu and find my button here for macros, click this bottom part, and tell to stop recording. Now you may or may not see this prompt depending on your version of Microsoft Excel. It's asking if I want to also save this as an Office script. I'm going to tell to discard the script. We don't need that. I now have this macro recorded. And in fact, I'll be able to find it under the View menu, Macros, and then this choice right here. And here it is saved as a personal XLSB checkbook reformat. But to make it super convenient, it's nice to have it as a one-click button. So I'm going to demonstrate how to add a button to your ribbon bar up here in Excel. So to do that, find this button right here. It says Customize the Quick Access Toolbar. So we'll click on that, and we see these options here. Now, while you're doing this, you may want to go ahead and add these convenient buttons for like New, Open, Sort Ascending, Sort Descending. Those can be handy buttons to also add to your Quick Access Toolbar. But what we really want to do is get our button for the macro. So we're going to go to the More Commands choice. And when you see the screen for Excel options and customizing your Quick Access Toolbar, click in the drop-down menu here and go to Macros. In the list of macros, look for your newly saved macro. Here's mine, the checkbook reformat. We're going to click this Add button, which adds it over to this side of the screen, my current Quick Access Toolbar. And before I click OK, I probably would like to have maybe a nice looking little icon. So you can click this Modify button here and see a whole palette of icons to choose from. Some suitable examples might be the $, the piggy bank. Just make your choice. I'll go with the piggy bank. Click OK again, and now I've got a button here for the piggy bank. Now I don't want to click and run this again because it's already reformatted my checkbook, but I do want to point out how this will work. So I'm going to go ahead and close my current sample transactions, and I'm not going to save it. We want to see how our macro works, so I'll go ahead and tell it to not save that. And the other important thing to note is that when you are in the process of closing out of Microsoft Excel, you will see a prompt about saving changes to your personal macro workbook. Super important that you go ahead and get that done, because you don't want to lose all your work you just did in your macro. So yes, I definitely want to save my macro. Okay, so as long as you got your macro saved, if you now go and test it by reopening a fresh copy of your bank transactions, here's my little one-click button. We'll click it, and poof, I've got it all reformatted, and I'm ready now to just select these entries, copy it to my clipboard, and then switch over to my checkbook and do my paste. So here's an example of pasting all of that data into my Excel checkbook. Now again, it is important to use the paste values, and you can find that a couple different ways. If you have a button up here for paste, you'll see that typically right there. Another option is you can do a right click on that first empty cell, and you'll find that paste values as a choice right there. And we now have our bank transactions quickly pasted into here, and I'm ready to start categorizing those. And again, this is a great way to get your data into your checkbook without having to manually enter everything. And that's also keeps you in control of your data. So thank you for watching, and I hope it helps.